All right, we're going to do a soybean update. Right, Will? Soybean update. What are you doing? Okay, so this is what we've got, right, Will? We've got a twin planting. This was replanted. Teresa replanted it. I didn't want to damage the beans that were planted early with the replant, so what I had Teresa do was go up and down the hill. I did not cut the rate on this replanting because it just, to me, it just wasn't going to accomplish anything. The stand was so piss poor. It was just piss poor. And when I say piss poor, I mean it was pretty piss poor. I hear a tractor running. Somebody's mowing hay. So I'm going to show you the difference between the first plant and the replant. Obviously, the first plant is bigger. And you can see that it was run down here. That one was run over. William's just trampling the hell out of everything. So since we got a good stand, I'm going to go ahead and rip a root up. That is a nice, healthy looking root, if you ask me. It's got good nodules coming on. This is the first planting. Would like to see a little more. Hey, don't do that. I'd like to see a little bit more darkness on that root from exudates and stuff, but that's just, just not the case yet.
It's coming.
I don't know who's calling me. It's your mom. Hold on. Food, and food. So I got nodules. I probably ripped off a bunch of nodules when I ripped it up out of the ground, but this one here has nodules that are coming right out to the end of the root. And what that is doing, it is producing nitrogen. So I'm going to set my camera down. William's annoying the crap out of me right now, which is fine. He's a little boy. He's allowed to do that. So these nodules that are out here on the end, I'm impressed. The nodules that are on the inside. Now what you want to see in a nodule, and nobody talks about these things, you can have active nodules and inactive nodules. The difference in the way to tell an inactive nodule from an active nodule is the color on the inside. So when you break that bad boy open, you see how it's like rusty in there? That rusty color? That is an active nodule. Now I'm not sure if these are going to all be active or inactive. You want them all to be active. It's obvious that they are all active nodules. So this plant is healthy. Unhealthy plants have inactive nodules, or there's too much nitrogen in your soil. William, stop trampling those. He's just doing it on purpose now. Look at this kid. Come here, I'm going to get you and beat you up. Child abuse, right? You get abused? Does Daddy abuse you?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Daddy loves to abuse his little boy. Anyway, so if you didn't know that, that's just the way that is. If there's too much nitrogen in your soil, your nodules will be green on the inside. Remember that. The nodules will be green on the inside. So now I'm going to go ahead and find me a good example of a replanted soybean, which is going to be in this row here, which is simple enough. This is our guy. This is our victim. Let's see what these roots look like. They're there, and they're tapping down deep. And there is actually let me get out of the shadows. There's actually a nodule right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that bad boy off of there. And I can tell you, hey, it's a corn cob. You can see it on the inside. It is rusty orange. So these beans are coming along pretty nicely. It's a pretty healthy field. There are some grasses coming up in here which will have to die. I'm not going to bother with those at this point. I'm going to go ahead and let these beans get up into canopy along with the grasses that are there or just prior to canopy. There's some up here. We always had issues with what do you call it? Velvet leaf. Velvet leaf was always an issue in this field. There is some red root pigweed. That's got to go. That there is milkweed. We do not have any hemp dogbane on this farm as of yet. Here's a velvet leaf. right there. That needs to go. The other thing was not cocklebur, but yeah, what was the name of that stuff? Yeah. Are you trying to get run over? Oh, no, you're trying to hold my hand. Good boy. Think, stupid. Think. Jimson weed. I don't see any Jimson out here yet. It usually starts about, well, pretty much right about now is when Jimson weed wants to start. Jimson weed likes to grow in hot soil. So as the soil becomes hot or superheated from being barren with no cover on it, that is when Jimson weed will sprout up and rear its ugly head. So Jimson weed likes barren soil. It gets hot. That triggers it. So I'm going to let these things grow up about a foot more taller, about a foot taller, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to hit it with Roundup again, glyphosate and secret sauce. That will terminate any unwanted weeds that are out here, and the secret sauce will translocate to the roots, feeding the microbiome in the soil, which will then provide enough potash and phosphate, which beans don't use much phosphate, but it will produce enough potash. It will make its own nitrogen because the nodules are there, and it's going to be a gorgeous field. You can see over there, all my beans on this farm look awesome. One of the other farms that I've been to is a big struggle because the soil was so acidic when I planted it. When I had corn on it last year and the year before, there is Callisto damage. Callisto damage is a whitening of the leaves. I looked it up last night. I burned the leaves back with Callisto, and now the new growth that is coming up with a white leaf. It is Callisto that got washed out of the tank. That was what burned that. I don't see any whitening of these leaves, even though this was two years of corn as well. The pH on this soil was in the low 6s, 6.2, 6.3. So there was already a decent amount of calcium here, but I fear, and I do believe, now I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure, by adding the 3.5 tons of lime to the acre on that other farm, I reactivated some of that residual herbicide that's in the soil. It never broke down all the way. It was bound to the clay particles, and by adding calcium, you release whatever is bound to the clay particles back into the soil, which then burns your new cash crop. So we'll see. Hopefully it pulls out of it. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. But I'm going to get on to planting today. I'm going to plant another 100 acres of soybeans or so, and we're going to call that good. Not going to start making hay yet for another week or so, but I will be done planting probably today and tomorrow. Then I'll be completely finished with corn and beans, back on the sprayer for a day or two, and then bada bing, bada boom, we're good to go. Hopefully Timothy's got this thing completely empty, which he does not. He doesn't. He's got a little bit of nitrogen left in there, which we can easily suck out or apply it to our corn at a later date. Anyways, thanks for watching. In the rain. It works in the rain real good. All right. Boy, does this shop need to be cleaned. Holy moly. Well, I'm down to the last 2 bags of seed corn and the last 2 boxes of soybean seed. And that's it. Those should go in the ground tomorrow. I was running the bin fans today because you kind of need to do that from time to time. About once a week, you run it for a couple hours. I ran this all day because I don't remember if I ran it last week. So if there was any kind of heat in it, it had to get gone. This is a group 2.8 or 2.9, this particular soybean variety. They're going in the ground because they're going in the ground. They're going in the ground. Planting through standing hay still. Corn planter is set up to do sweet corn. I have to get another 2 acres of sweet corn, 1.5 acres to 2 acres of sweet corn in the ground yet. The popcorn is growing, just about to pop through the ground, so I'm quite pleased with that result. These boxes are empty, but I'm set up for 16,000 plants to the acre on that. 16,000 population, 16,200 or something like that. That's what it's set up for. The reason we do that is so that we have a bigger ear for the popcorn and the sweet corn. A little bit of knowledge there that nobody needs to know because nobody grows popcorn, right? I enjoy growing popcorn. I've done it in the past. Nobody ever knew that I did it in the past. And somebody was eating Cheetos or something. This car just went to the detailer and it has Cheetos in it. So where would she have hid the key? Well, it's in here or the thing wouldn't have started. Yeah, this is the Edge ST. Boy, do I love this car. Anybody that says that Ford doesn't know how to make a luxurious sports sedan, they've never driven one of these. I really like this car. It's a hot little car. So anyway, yeah. Teresa's planting soybeans, and I'm just gonna go and grab her and William. She's got William for just a few minutes. I'm just gonna park at the edge of the field because we're planting the field right next to my driveway at my house. So she's been working at that all day long, and I've been chasing spray and spraying, chasing spray and spraying more and chasing more spray, and you know how it works with corn and soybeans. And because I don't have any employees other than myself, my wife, and Timothy, and Dad does load hay, but he's not running sprayers or anything like that anymore. He's retired from it, you know, so it all falls on my shoulders, which is fine because I'm D-farmer, you know, D-farmer. Yeah. So this is the shit that bothers me though. And I don't have my screamer siren, but I think I'm gonna go get it. What do you people think you're doing out there? Huh? So, the deer damage on this farm is not bad. I don't mind 2 deer. I hate 2 deer being out there, but I don't mind so much. And I just replanted this end. As you can see, it's not planted. The chain jumped off of the grain drill, and when it happened, I fixed it, but I didn't realize. I thought it had popped off right there on the end where I backed up. But unfortunately for me, it had popped up earlier and didn't plant that. So I just replanted that end this morning and it should be fine. Don't worry, beer's gonna go up. Popcorn. Popcorn of all things. Now, I bought that popcorn seed a long while back. I did. There she goes. And she's not gonna stop. You think she would stop? She's not gonna stop. I think she's just gonna keep right on planting. But anyways, so this is what it looks like when you plant through standing grass. Now this is garbage. This is just some kind of, I don't even know what kind of grass it is. It's not even a normal grass, but it is a grass. It's some kind of a fescue, and it will definitely make a decent cover because it is fine, and it will come back up to a point, which is what I'm counting on and hoping for. As you can see, the slots are closing nicely. The beans are down in there. I am going to use a liquid calcium product on this because I didn't get lime, and I didn't get enough lime, and I didn't lime this. And if you don't know, soybeans are calcium whores. They love calcium. They need calcium. So this liquid calcium product, it's about 8% calcium solution. And it works extremely fast. What it will do is it will sweeten the top couple of inches of the soil where the microbes are, and it will allow the nutrients and the microbiome to actually break down this grass and feed the soybean. So I'll be applying that after they're up and running. So I've got to get a couple of gallons of that stuff, like maybe 500 gallons of it or so, maybe 800 gallons of it. I'm going to put it on the soybeans that I'm planting in areas I wasn't able to get lime put on, and I'm going to put it on corn where I didn't get lime put on. So I'm probably going to need close to 1,000 gallons of it, and I'll do that, no problem at all. But yeah, and this is a heavily deer trafficked area, so there's some. That's another reason why I'm planting it through this grass. I'm going to let it grow because deer are lazy. They'll walk through this, and if they got to reach their nose down through this crap, they won't. They just won't. They'll grab one and then they'll walk on because they just can't get good bites. This ground The pH isn't terrible on it. My pH meter states it's somewhere around 5.8, 5.9, which is terrible, but it isn't super terrible that a liquid calcium won't work. That will work quite well. But yeah, I wonder if she's just going to finish that. I bet she is. She can finish it. She's grumpy as all hell. Just grumpy, mad at me. I was hoping that she would stop and just walk up there, but she's not going to. So we'll just walk down here and annoy the hell out of her when I get here, because I kind of want to do the rest of this field. And I got another field down on the other side that's probably 10 acres, 7, 8 acres is what it is. And we'll get them in, we'll get them going. Deer control won't be too hard. There's soybeans right across the way here, somebody else's soybeans, which is fine. And to fight the deer here on soybeans isn't going to be terrible, because I've got an invention that I made, and it works on motion, and it's kind of cool, and it kind of does work. So anyway, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to shut up. Probably going to spray this tomorrow. I'm not going to let the exudates do their thing. I'm just going to spray it tomorrow and get it killed off. So yeah, and we'll see if she stops for me. She may not stop for me. She's doing an awesome job. Look at that bad boy, just cutting right down through it. Isn't that something? Closing wheels work really good. Everything that I did, I'm quite proud of. It seems to be working, including the row markers, or the marker system. It works really good. She's doing pretty happy. But this ground needed to be turned, replaced, rotated away from this grass anyway, because this grass does nothing for me. This is like a 15 bale farm field, it's awful, and it just isn't something that's gonna work, and she is not gonna stop. So we'll just get up on here for it, and y'all can take a look. You can see right there, if you zoom in, how that firming wheel is that is a Needamag D8 firming wheel with the drill cruiser closing wheel. It is doing its thing. It is doing its thing. So this 750 drill is pretty much on steroids. Look at the way she turns that bad boy. And then she goes right into those Needamag parts. You can just see them going right down into that slot. Everything's working wonderfully. Maybe you can see them better from up here. Oh, right there, baby. Seed tube. You can see the seed dropping through those tubes. Just metering their way down through there. That's a good thing. Chains running. There used to be a guard on that, but I never had it. The farmer that owned this thing before me, because I'm the second-hand owner, he must have took it off and never put it back in. So yeah, I've got the rack of weights on there. There's 1,400 pounds of weight on there, just to hold everything down in place. And a lot of times with these drills, if this rack of weights isn't on here, that frame will lift up and that wheel there'll be a gap there, and that gap isn't there, so all the pressure that she's putting to the ground is working. It's going right through to the ground. And we'll just show the markers as they go. And she's up in there. She's a happy camper. Look at her smile. See her smiling? Look how close she gets to that wheel. Boom, marker goes right down. Those are yetters. They were put on, they were brilliant, but they're actually yetter. And it just, if you don't know what it does does that, and it does that really good. I'm pretty happy. Today we had a blown hose, so Timothy came and he replaced the 2 hoses that needed to be replaced, and life is good. And life is good. I think I did the 2 on the other side already, and then yeah, I think I did, and then he just replaced those now, because the other 2 were bad. Should have done that right away anyway. But maybe I'm boring the hell out of y'all. I don't know. God, she gets close to that thing. Whew. But I just think it's cool as hell to watch those Neatomag firming wheels they're the V8 firming wheels, and how they just, even through the grass, you can see that they're right down in there. So all the work that we did has really paid off this year in the no-till program. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, and you can see I'm going to get back down on my hands and knees and beg for forgiveness because of that photo I posted of her today. She doesn't run me over. And you can see down in there, you can't see anything down in there. This ground is pretty sour. I can see the moss growing. When you're looking to see how a no-till field is working, you don't like get a cross section like that. You come to the side, right? And you cut it from the side, and then you lift it like that, so that your slot that you cut is parallel to the slot that you're trying to get into. And then you go ahead and hopefully you'll find a seed down in there. You should be placing it pretty nicely, about 1.5 inches deep is where it should be. And it is in there someplace, but I'm just not finding it. She doesn't want to stop because she's mad at me. Actually, she's mad at me because she hasn't eaten all day, and I want to actually take her out for dinner, but she's, you know, you got to beg for forgiveness when you put your wife on line half naked, you know. Why am I not seeing a soybean seed in there? Well, doesn't mean it's not there, it just means that I'm not finding it. That's the one thing. I was watching Cole the Corn Star, and his dad, this has been a while ago, but his dad was digging for corn. He says, I can never find these things. And he's right. I can never find them either. Me and him are not too far off in age and experiences. God damn, why can't I find that soybean seed? Is this thing even putting seed out? There it is. No, that's a root. Okay, now I'm getting annoyed. You ever just get annoyed? Why isn't there seed going in the ground? Oh, popped up, that's why. Here's one. But why am I unable to locate it in the ground? I know it's down there. Oh, there it is. I just saw one here. Darn it, where in the hell did it go? Well, wherever it is, it's down there. Pressed in where it belongs. So, ow! Freaking little stickers. That's horse nettle. And that's another thing. There's poison ivy out here. There's horse nettle out here. There's bramble bushes out here. There's all this stuff that's out here. And it just isn't conducive to growing a crop of hay. So, my job here is to basically get this stuff killed off and rotate it out. I don't know what the beans are going to do. I will put calcium down, liquid calcium or some form of calcium or lime, and we'll get it squared away so that it's, you know, so that it's where it belongs. And we'll see what happens. Oh, hemp dog bane by the gazillion globs. I was going to put corn in here, but corn I just felt was going to be too expensive to get this ground in shape with, but soybeans is a bit cheaper, and risking a few $100s worth of soybeans is a lot less troublesome than risking a few $1,000s worth of seed corn. And this is the worst field on the farm. This little piece, what is this, 4 or 5 acres? I think it's 5 acres. So who knows? Who knows? I guess I'll shut up now and get to see the tractor in action. Maybe she'll stop up there and get out and go get something to eat or make something to eat. Well, I'll give her some cash and she can go get some food so she doesn't have to cook. I don't know. Maybe we'll send her for something. We'll see what kind of mood she's in, right? But that is a first-class woman right there. First class, not second class, first class. Oh yeah.